Love Radio 5D Radio Flicks. This is a sound check. Clean, crisp, crystal clear. Love Radio 5D Radio Flicks. 25 epic international radio stations broadcasting from New York City to every nation on earth.
Love Radio.
𝐔𝐕 𝐑𝐚𝐝𝐢𝐨 𝐏𝐻𝐻, a masterpiece with passion, positivity, and power for posterity. A University of the West Indies thesis, 21st March 1985, by Sukram Ali. Presented 40 years later, June 19th, 2025, by the ultimate selector, with the kind compliments of the #1 black strong coffee, Nescafe, the coffee we love, on Love Radio Pure Passion. 40 years ago, I presented a thesis for the module Caribbean History and Contemporary Social Problems at the University of the West Indies, St. Augustine campus. This presentation is adapted from the original script, 𝐔𝐕 𝐑𝐚𝐝𝐢𝐨 𝐏𝐻𝐻. This program is dedicated to my classmates, the class of 1984 to 1987, Communication Arts, UWI, St. Augustine, Trinidad and Tobago. Love Radio 5D Radio Flicks, 25 epic international radio stations broadcasting from Midtown Manhattan, New York City to every nation on the planet. Powered by music from the Ultimate Collection and the power of love with Radio Flicks and AI technologies. 𝐔𝐕 𝐑𝐚𝐝𝐢𝐨 𝐏𝐻𝐻 on Love Radio Pure Passion, courtesy the #1 black strong coffee, Nescafe, the coffee we love.
Nescafe, the coffee we love.
There's many trials in life. Someone wants to prove courage to find the truth. Sacrifices in life for your family's tomorrow. You need the courage. Strong and independent person need a strong cup of coffee. Nescafe, the #1 black strong coffee. Improve memory, boost energy level, increase alertness. Strong and delicious coffee. Nescafe, with the smell of aroma, coffee beans. Golden brown Nescafe, coffee ganus. The smell of a better tomorrow.
Nescafe Classic. Bunga ng 100% puro at natural.
Nescafe, the coffee we love.
Courtesy the #1 black strong coffee, Nescafe, the coffee we love. The hero, champion, and spokesman of the working class. 𝐔𝐕 𝐑𝐚𝐝𝐢𝐨 𝐏𝐻𝐻, a masterpiece with passion, positivity, and power for posterity on Love Radio Pure Passion. Documenting for future generations to treasure the life journey of one of the 20th century's titans, one of 4 giants among men, fearless heroes and champions of the working class. Mahatma Gandhi, 𝐔𝐕 𝐑𝐚𝐝𝐢𝐨 𝐏𝐻𝐻, Dr. Martin Luther King Jr., and Nelson Mandela. The hero and spokesman of the working class, the champion of the poor and downtrodden, the supreme chief servant, a true father of the nation of Trinidad and Tobago, 𝐔𝐕 𝐑𝐚𝐝𝐢𝐨 𝐏𝐻𝐻. Butler was uncompromisingly, absolutely, and completely opposed to British colonial rule.
It's a sad thing to remember, and it's sadder still for me to relate today when things seem to have changed quite a lot. But as I remember, the conditions of the poor Indians and Negroes in sugar and oil respectively was nothing short of subhuman. It was clearly a case for early rectification. But how to do it? Letter after letter was dispatched to the powers that be in the oil and sugar industry. No replies. We turned our attention to the government of the day. Every letter was attended to, acknowledged. But what about the alleviation of the condition of these poor workers? Well, nothing was attempted, nothing done. And so I thought that the time had come when we had to take positive action to achieve positive results insofar as betterment of the condition under which these people were forced to live and die and work are concerned.
The Butler point of view is that this government, a crown colony form of government, is not constitutional. And furthermore, Butler is absolutely and completely opposed to crown colony government in this day and age. And so, a court that is set up by a crown colony government cannot be capable of trying Butler or convicting Butler. I reject any verdict coming from this court. I reject any verdict coming from this court.
Today, as we celebrate what I am always pleased to refer to as the Butlerites' Thanksgiving Day, I call upon one and all of my warriors to lift their hearts to Almighty God in joyful praise and thanksgiving for the victories, the working class victories, the immortal victories, the epic victories of labor under Gordon Uriah Butler in the history-making days of June 1937. Glory to God in the highest. Long live labor. Long live the servants of labor in Trinidad and Tobago.
Powerful words from a fearless conqueror, a passionate man of determination, courage, intelligence, and wisdom. A man who went to jail for championing the plight of the working class. Buzz devoted his life unselfishly and wholeheartedly to the struggle for improvements in the working and living conditions of the poor African and Indian laborers in the sugar and oil industries, struggling with all his might by any means necessary against the colonial government of the British West Indies. Buzz was committed to truth, justice, and fair play. Never before in the history of Trinidad and Tobago, anyone so bravely and boldly spoke out with fiery words and fearless actions, regardless of the consequences. At the end of World War II, General elections were held in Trinidad and Tobago on July 1st, 1946. Of the 13 seats in the Legislative Council, the Butler Party won 3 seats, and Albert Gomes' United Front Party won 3 seats. An oilfield South African manager in TNT, Colonel Hicklin, said, "Black dogs can't bite, they can only bark." At Faizabad, on the night of June 19, 1937, Butler said, "Well, today we are showing them that black dogs don't only bark, but we are going to bite, and we are going to bite off their backsides." In 1946, Butler demanded that England give Trinidad and Tobago equal political treatment as self-governing colonies South Africa, Australia, New Zealand, and Canada. In 1946, Butler called a general strike, and in 1947, Butler and a group of his followers gathered in Port of Spain and stormed the Red House. As a result of his actions, Butler was expelled from the Oilfield Workers Trade Union. This led to a pretty dark period in the OWTU's history, when for a few years they worked against Butler and the people's struggle. The OWTU, a trade union Buzz instructed Rienzi to form while he was incarcerated in 1937, a union he served as President General. The Butler Party won a seat to represent St. Patrick West in the Legislative Council. On November 20th, 1947, the British Empire held, with much pomp and pageantry, the royal wedding of Princess Elizabeth of England to Prince Philip of Greece and Denmark. In 1948, the mighty Spoiler captured that moment in song. Here is the roaring lion, Raphael de Leon, with the mighty Spoilers' smash hit, Royal Wedding.
I was invited to Princess Elizabeth wedding. You weren't there, so please listen to the happening. Soon as I received invitation back in Port of Spain, I was escorted by Churchill in the royal plane. Just as I reached, I was greeted by His Majesty, who introduced me to members of his family. And after greetings and shake hand by one and all, I was asked to inspect the banquet hall. They had crab, they had callaloo, they had lapa booty and female tattoo. They had macaroni, vermicelli, curry, cascadoo. I was ashamed to see female manico. Then His Majesty arose and humbly beseeched that I do him the honor of making a speech. I agreed, and with an air of aristocracy, I addressed the audience accordingly. Before beginning my speech, there was an uproar. I said, ladies, but couldn't say anything more. For the mayor exclaimed, oh, that speech is great. So would you tumble tattoo in that Mr. Plate? They dump crab, they dump callaloo, they dump lapa booty and female tattoo. They dump macaroni, vermicelli, curry, cascadoo. I was ashamed to see female manico. I received so many titles I can't forget, and honors at the wedding of Elizabeth. They made me Prime Minister of the country, and even asked Bishop of Canterbury. Lord Privy Seal, that was nothing new. Lord Chief Justice and the Mayor too. They even made a suggestion, but in sympathy I refused to be titled His Majesty. So much crab, so much callaloo, so much lapa booty and female tattoo, so much macaroni, vermicelli, curry, cascadoo. I was ashamed to see female manico. All sorts of liquor was about the place. Some I never heard of, much more to taste. Whiskey, champagne and creme de menthe. They even had a liquor they called government. They gave me a drink I can't remember. It was a green thing in a decanter. One drink I wake up, that is the case. It was a dream, I was dreaming, I didn't went no place. So much crap, so much callaloo, so much lapa booty and female tattoo, so much macaroni, bommy, sally curry, cascadoo. I was ashamed to see female manicu.
𝐿𝐈 𝐶𝐕 from the Mighty Spoilers songbook, a song that won Spoiler the 1948 Calypso King crown. Performed by Raphael de Leon, the Roaring Lion, Royal Wedding. The Mighty Spoiler, Theophilus Philip, lived in the tenement yard in Helyard, the scene of our next tale. As alluded to earlier, in the second half of the 1930s, the Tambu Bamboo quickly added steel instruments and oil drums, and the steel band was born. From 1940, the very first steel band recording by a steel band that still exists today, with several name changes along the way. Helyard Boys, Second Fiddle, Cross of Lorraine, and All Stars, still located on the banks of the East Dry River on Duke Street. Raphael de Leon with music by the Helyard Steel Band from 1940, the Roaring Lion, Lion-O.
There go me lion, Lion-O. There go me lion, Lion-O. I went on a Puna, Lion-O. I went Sandy Grande, Lion-O. I went Freeport Junction, Lion-O. I went up at Cora, Lion-O. I went San Fernando, Lion-O. Went Pinal Junction, Lion-O. Went Siparia, Lion-O. The Stick Bend de Bami, Lion-O. I meet Willie Dolly, Lion-O. Yeah, I meet Lio Bundo, Lion-O. I meet Dolphus Coca, Lion-O. Will Pilgrim, Lion-O. Went to kill me, Lion-O. And they want to kill me, Lion-O. Bunks up Godota, Lion-O. Met up Joe Pringle, Lion-O. Yeah, meet up Elias, Lion-O. Called the Hindu dancer, Lion-O. I drank Richmond's East, Lion-O. It got like Joe Louis, Lion-O. I came terrible, Lion-O. And start making trouble, Lion-O. Yeah, Lion-O. Lion-O. Yeah, Lion-O. Lion-O. Bunks up Joe Louis, Lion-O. I drank Frenchman East, Lion-O. I became terrific, Lion-O. I start making trouble, Lion-O.
From 1940, the very first steel band recording, Raphael de Leon with music by the Helyard Steel Band, the Roaring Lion, Lion-O. Up next, the first music video, Jubal Uriah Buzz Butler on Love Radio Pure Passion, courtesy the #1 black strong coffee, Nescafe, the coffee we love.
Nescafe, the coffee we love.
There's many trials in life. Someone wants to prove courage to find the truth. Sacrifices in life for your family's tomorrow. You need the courage. Strong and independent person need a strong cup of coffee. Nescafe, the #1 black strong coffee. Improve memory, boost energy level, increase alertness. Strong and delicious coffee. Nescafe, with the smell of aroma, coffee beans. Golden brown Nescafe, coffee ganus. The smell of a better tomorrow.
Nescafe Classic. Bunga ng 100% puro at natural.
Nescafe, the coffee we love.
Courtesy the #1 black strong coffee, Nescafe, the coffee we love. The hero, champion, and spokesman of the working class, Jubal Uriah Buzz Butler. A masterpiece with passion, positivity, and power for posterity on Love Radio Pure Passion. documenting for future generations to treasure the life journey of one of the 20th century's titans, Tubal Uriah Buzz Butler. This is a tribute to one of the 4 20th century titans, mighty warriors, fearless trailblazers, champions of the working class, Gandhi, Butler, King, and Mandela. This one is for my hero, Tubal Uriah Buzz Butler. Long before MTV, in 1948, Sterling Television in the USA recorded a music video of the Duke of Iron, Cecil Anderson, performing Wild Indian.
It was exciting carnival day with the kind of mass that they play. When the Red Indians started coming down, they were singing this song. It was Nare Nare Na Bendure, Nare Nare Na Bendure, Ana Daisi Wara Na Wara Huine, Nare Nare Na Bendure. Oh, knock me knock Nare Bendure, Nare Nare Na Bendure. Amina knock me knock Nare Bendure, Nare Nare Na Bendure. Well, the band was marching so fine and they were singing in time. Moko in the distance did see their deadly enemy, and he said, Nare, Nare, na Bendure, Nare, Nare, na Bendure, Ana knock me knock Nare Bendure, Nare, Nare, na Bendure, Ana Daisi Wara, Awara Huine, Nare, Nare, na Bendure, Ana Biribaka Biribo, Abiribakine, Nare, Nare, na Bendure. Now the king, without any fear for battle, he did prepare. He jumped up to the head of his band and whipped, said, I couldn't understand. Warimbo! Waineri saribonari kaisima saribakopta! Andorigo mahobikatan! Waitin, dansi moko, bita warineri! Anesa knock me knock nare bendure, nare nare na bendure, ana knock me knock nare bendure, nare nare na bendure, ana daisi wara huine, nare nare na bendure, ana ramaje aramaje ine, nare nare na bendure. Then the enemy start to run away from the Red Indian. So they started to sing again the same peculiar refrain, and it was Nare Nare Na Bendure, Nare Nare Na Bendure, Ana knock me knock Nare Bendure, Nare Nare Na Bendure, ah Nare Nare Na Bendure, Nare Nare Na Bendure, ah Ana wiri bakine, Nare Nare Na Bendure, Ana knock me knock Nare Bendure, Nare Nare Na Bendure.
Before VH1, before MTV, before YouTube, the year 1948, Trinidad had one AM radio station and no television station. A 1948 music video by the Duke of Iron, Cecil Anderson, Wild Indian. Long before it was Independence Day, August 31st, 1947, saw the launch of Radio Trinidad, 7:30 a.m., just in time to cover the royal wedding of 1948. On October 13th, 1957, Radio Guardian, 6:10 a.m., hit the airwaves. Whitco moved from Port of Spain to Charfleur in 1947. Founded in 1947, the Carib Brewery in September 1950 produced the first Trinidad beer, Carib Lager. Governor Murchison Fletcher once said, Butler is dangerous and should be carefully watched with a view to immediate action if sufficient cause is given. Butler once said, you go and tell those bastards of yours, if they don't give the workers their just dues, I, Uriah Butler, will turn the British Empire upside down. The first half of the 20th century saw the transition from sugar to cocoa dominance, the rise of the oil industry, growing social unrest, and early steps towards independence. The Crown boasts that the sun never sets on the British Empire. It was so fast. Yet, tiny Trinidad and Tobago in the 1930s was the largest producer of oil in the entire British Empire, a source of tremendous wealth to the British Empire, critical to the mighty British Navy and their industries. General elections were held in Trinidad and Tobago on 18 September 1950. The Butler Party emerged as the largest in the Legislative Council, winning 6 of the 18 seats. Voter turnout was 70%, but the colonial office in England conspired to deny Butler his rightful place as head of the Legislative Council in the British colony of Trinidad and Tobago. Butler instilled fear in the British colonial government, in Trinidad and Tobago, and in the colonial office in Britain. Such fear that they were forced to collude and manipulate the system so as to prevent Butler from becoming the chief minister in 1950. Butler was elected to the Legislative Council as a member of Parliament and held his seat until 1961. The first book published by a black playwright in Britain was Minty Alley by C.L.R. James, of the 1938 book The Black Jacobins Fame, which tells the story of Haitian superhero Toussaint L'Ouverture. Samuel Selvon published in 1953 the novel A Brighter Sun. The story is set in Trinidad during World War II and follows the experiences of Tiger, a young Indian man from a sugar estate, and his wife Ermilla, with a backdrop of current events. Much like this special, Butler also contested the federal elections in 1958, but was defeated by Hossein Shah. He then contested the Labre seat in the general elections of 1961 unsuccessfully.
I want you to know what I'm talking about. I prefer you to say that you don't know what I'm talking about. Well, you never heard of two nations signing a treaty of friendship? Not a Jakarta country. Have you ever heard of two nations signing a treaty of friendship? Honest? But only a few years ago, there was such a treaty between the United Kingdom and the Japanese people and nations. You never heard that? Have you ever heard of the Anglo-Japanese Treaty of Alliance? Whereas, if Japan don't tell anybody, Japan will send down to a sister, and if Britain will look for trouble anywhere, Japan will come to a sister, and if anybody attacks England, Japan will come to a sister, and vice versa. Just Japan never heard that. So what the hell is wrong? They threw out the right about Butler as the first president of Trinidad and Tobago Republic within the Commonwealth and instead of treaty with America. What the hell is wrong with that? So shut up. But if the Japanese so damn big and bad that he wouldn't sign such a treaty with the Trinidad and Tobago government and people, then let me warn Uncle Sam now. Because the grass, as far as Trinidad and Tobago is concerned, keep off the grass. You refuse to sign a treaty of friendship with us. Well, see that you do not take any aggressive move against Trinidad and Tobago, because under God and Uriah Butler, we shall have at that time power to cause the bullets to travel in the opposite. So when they think they mission, there are some bombs at us, they will all return on their own. Now, that's wisdom. That's wisdom. And wisdom is too high for Jakarta. So, the those who are here representing Uncle Sam, and I know there are one or two niggas there who represent Uncle. Well, I am so sorry with that. As a matter of fact, I personally like Uncle Sam. because I work with him and he has always paid me well. I have knocked him down when you were set to man. I didn't have to see it. I wonder if you ever went to the Senate legislative function. You ever heard it? Because on the agenda we have items for the acquisition of certain land for certain things specified in the appendix. You ever heard that? But then they can go. They're taking over by law an acre, 2 acres, or 2 acres. But they're going to use that same law to take over the oil fields, the sugar fields, and the asphalt, because these things belong to the people of Trinidad and Tobago. And that's talk about oil, and that's talk about the United States state. We are going to have the United Nations down here. The United Nations will be Trinidad and Tobago, under God and the land. We are going to have the United Nations in Trinidad and Tobago. So we will have to stand and tell them the Yankees and aggression. They'll be right here to witness the aggression. And so, let's make it more. Remember what it says. In this day, there's no wisdom. When the British Commonwealth is involved in Vietnam, the British Commonwealth is involved in Vietnam. And they have a right to be involved in Vietnam. As an ally of the United States of America, we have a right to follow the stars and stripes wherever they go. Tell the world what they can do. What is the present position of the nation? You know what is the present position of the nation? You have to buy down the lowest position in your life. Economic state. Not this slavery. The darkest days of slavery have Trinidadians and Tobagoans reached the level of slavery as it's supposed to our country. What is the solution? God, and his servant, who was Uriah Butler.
Butler was conscious of the importance of the unity of Indians and Africans in Trinidad and Tobago and was in tune with the struggle of the working class worldwide. In the 1930s, several prominent oil companies were operating in Trinidad, with United British Oilfields of Trinidad and Tobago, UBOT, and Trinidad Leasehold Limited, later Shell, being the most significant. Other notable companies included Apex Trinidad Oilfields Limited, Petroleum Options 1925 Limited, and Trinidad Central Oilfields Limited. Butler had established contact with Mahatma Gandhi, who successfully led the fight against British rule and secured independence for India in 1947. On June 21st, 1948, Alwyn Roberts, the Lord Kitchener, left the colony aboard the HMV Empire Windrush, England bound. Here's Kitch. London is the place for me.
London is the place for me. London, this lovely city. You can go to France or America, India, Asia or Australia, but you must come back to London City. Well, believe me, I am speaking broad-mindedly. I am glad to know my mother country. I've been traveling to countries years ago, but this is the place I wanted to know. London, that's the place for me. To live in London, you are really comfortable, because the English people are very much sociable. They take you here and they take you there, and they make you feel like a millionaire. So London, that's the place for me. At nights, when you have nothing to do, Shaftesbury Avenue. There you would laugh and talk and enjoy the breeze and admire the beautiful scenery of London. That's the place for me. I cannot complain of the time I have spent. I mean, my life in London is really magnificent. I have every comfort and every sport, and my residence is at Hampton Courts. London, that's the place for me.
𝐂𝐲 from 1948. Alwyn Roberts, the Lord Kitchener. London is the place for me. Kitch left the colony for England in 1948 and returned to an independent nation in 1963. Just like Mahatma Gandhi, Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. and Nelson Mandela stood out as symbols of sacrifice and struggle in the interests of their people, Butler commanded the respect, loyalty and love of his people, the working class. The British Empire got a new monarch on the 2nd of June 1953. At Westminster Abbey in London, the world witnessed the coronation of Queen Elizabeth II of England. The young tiger, George Brown, said, "I was there at the coronation."
Well, let me tell you, ladies and gents, I enjoyed myself to my heart's content. I could not follow the procession, but I was there to see the coronation. I was there
at the coronation.
I was there
at the coronation.
I took up my position at Marble Arch from the night before just to see the march. The night wind was blowing, freezing and cold, but I held my ground like a young Creole. I was there
at the coronation.
I was there
at the coronation.
My stoic stand soon paid dividends, for I saw them coming around the bend. Then I perceived in all her glory the golden coach with Her Majesty. She was there
at the coronation.
I was there
at the coronation.
Her Majesty looked really divine in her crimson robe, furred with ermine. The Duke of Edinburgh, dignified and neat, sat beside her as Admiral of the Fleet. He was there
at the coronation.
I was there
at the coronation.
1,000 guardsmen marching ahead, physicians and surgeons all in good stead. All the lords of the Admiralty, the War Office and the Air Ministry, they were there
at the coronation.
I was there
at the coronation.
Navy, Army, Royal Air Force, Chiefs of Staff, United Kingdom of course, the Royal Horse Guards we chanced to see, escort of the Household Cavalry, they were there
at the coronation.
I was there
at the coronation.
Troops from Dominion and colonies, Australia, New Zealand and West Indies, India, Ceylon, West Africa, Newfoundland, Gibraltar and Canada, they were there
at the coronation.
I was there
at the coronation.
The procession was about 50,000 strong. It stretched for much more than 6 miles long. Millions of people, all happily shouting 3 cheers for Her Majesty. They were there
at the coronation.
I was there
at the coronation.
As I stood there looking rapturously, a feeling of elation came over me. I felt what pleasure such beauty gives. I shall never forget as long as I live. I was there
at the coronation.
We were there
at the coronation.
I was there
at the coronation.
Millions there
at the coronation.
𝐂𝐲, young tiger, George Brown. I was there at the coronation. Jubal Uriah Buzz Butler on Love Radio, Pure Passion, courtesy the #1 black strong coffee, Nescafe, the coffee we love.
Nescafe, the coffee we love.
There's many trials in life. Someone wants to prove courage to find the truth. Sacrifices in life for your family's tomorrow. You need the courage. Strong and independent person need a strong cup of coffee. Nescafe, the #1 black strong coffee. improve memory, boost energy level, increase alertness, strong and delicious coffee, Nescafe. With the smell of aroma, coffee beans. Called in brown Nescafe, coffee ganus. The smell of a better tomorrow.
Nescafe Classic. Bunga ng 100% puro at natural.
Nescafe, the coffee we love.
Courtesy the #1 black strong coffee, Nescafe, the coffee we love. The hero, champion, and spokesman of the working class, Tubal Uriah Buzz Butler. A masterpiece with passion, positivity, and power for posterity on Love Radio, Pure Passion. Documenting for future generations to treasure the life journey of one of the 20th century's titans, Tubal Uriah Buzz Butler. Butler formed the Butler Party to contest the 1950 general elections. The Butler Party was the only party to contest all 18 seats and won 6 seats. 3 other parties won 2 seats each, and 6 independent candidates won their seats. 2 independent candidates pledged to support Butler, giving the Butler Party the largest group in the legislature. But Butler was denied forming the 1950 government and ascending to chief minister by the governor and the colonial office in Britain. In 1955, Princess Margaret paid an official visit to the colony of Trinidad and Tobago. As the mighty sparrow, Slinger Francisco, the mighty sparrow, ode to Princess Margaret.
I am proud Princess Margaret came to Trinidad. Imagine how I'm feeling glad. I am happy since the princess came to Trinidad. Imagine how I'm feeling glad. And to show my appreciation, I wish you would enjoy her vacation. Enjoy the tropical breeze. Remember the Queen of the West Indies. So princess, we're happy you came our way. But unfortunately, you could not stay. This is a welcome that has no end. Please pay us a visit now and then. From the time we all heard that you were coming down, that was bacchanal in tongue. Preparations, everybody, no delay. We all were bright and gay. And from the smaller islands, visitors came with no hesitations. We wish you health and prosperity. Princess, from here to eternity. Still I'm singing. Princess, we're happy you came our way. But unfortunately, you could not stay. This is a welcome that has no end. Pay us a visit now and then. I am sure that you heard a lot about Trinidad, the land where people is never sad. For in sorrow we smile and take things easily. That's the way we live happily. You were just in time for Carnival, the best of all West Indian festivals. It's a pity you couldn't remain to hear our sweet melodious refrain. Oh, princess, we're happy you came our way. But unfortunately, you could not stay. This is a welcome that has no end. Please pay us a visit now and then. So I'm hoping that someday you will come again to the city of Port of Spain. Bring your friends, the royal family, to have a stay. You are welcome any day. Because on your departure we were sad ever after. So please come back to La Trinity, the land of love and sincerity. Still we are singing, Princess, we're happy you came away, but unfortunately you could not stay. This is a welcome that has no end. Please pay us a visit now and then.
𝐂𝐲, Slinger Francisco, the mighty sparrow, ode to Princess Margaret. 3 years later, Princess Margaret visited again. A highway from the bamboo valse to Chaguanas was named after her. Here is Andrew Mercano, Brother Superior. Welcome, Princess Margaret.
We are very happy to see you, Princess Margaret. And you can't believe me, we are proud of your visit. When you came here last, you could not remain. You make us feel happy to see you again. Welcome, welcome to Princess Margaret. A happy welcome to Princess Margaret. When you left last we were sad, but now we are glad to welcome you once again to Trinidad. We are glad to welcome you once again to Trinidad. You will hear calypso, you will hear steel band, you will see the limbo dance in its native land. Eat some local dishes, enjoy calypso melody. But when you come in next, bring the whole royal family. Welcome, welcome to Princess Margaret. A happy welcome to Princess Margaret. When you left last, it was sad, but now we are glad to welcome you once again to Trinidad. We are glad to welcome you once again to Trinidad. It is nice of you to come back this way, and I hope so true that you'll enjoy your stay. For when you're leaving and the planes are up in the skies, oh Princess my dear, you'll be leaving tears in our eyes. So welcome, welcome to Princess Margaret. A happy welcome to Princess Margaret. When you left last we were sad, but now we are glad to welcome you once again to Trinidad. We are glad to welcome you once again to Trinidad.
𝐂𝐲, Andrew Mercano, Brother Superior. Welcome, Princess Margaret. 10 British West Indian colonies got together on January 3rd, 1958 to form the West Indies Federation, aiming to achieve independence as a single state. Antigua and Barbuda, Barbados, Dominica, Grenada, Jamaica, Montserrat, St. Kitts, Nevis, Anguilla, St. Lucia, St. Vincent, and Trinidad and Tobago. The short-lived federation was dissolved on May 31st, 1962. Jamaica withdrew, and Trinidad and Tobago said 1 from 10 leaves 0. Here is Slinger Francisco. Born in Grenada, the birdie came to Trinidad as an 18-month-old toddler in 1936. The mighty Sparrow Federation.
People want to know why Jamaica run from the Federation. Well, they want to know why Jamaica run away from the Federation. Jamaica have a right to speak she mind, that is my opinion. And if you believe in democracy, you'll agree with me. But if they know they didn't want federation, and they know they don't want to unite as one, independence was at the door, why didn't they speak before? This is no time to say you are federating no more. Whoa, 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 la da dee dee, la da dee.
cause big fight. When Sir Grantley Adams took up his post, that even made things worse. They ballin', we ain't want no Bajan premier. Trinidad can't be capital for here. So the grumbling went on and on to a big referendum. But if they know they didn't want federation, and they know they don't want to unite as one and only one, I said to tell the doctor you're not in favor. Don't behave like a blasted traitor. How the devil you mean you're federating no more? Again, I think it's a big shame. After so much efforts and energy put by everybody, right now it's only a memory. We fail miserably. Some may say we shouldn't help part it, but it's Jamaica where started. If they know they didn't want federation, and they know they don't want to unite as one, just tell the doctor you're not in favor. Don't behave like a blasted traitor. This is no time to say you are federating no more. Whoa, whoa, la da dee dee la, la da dee dee la. Whoa, da dee dee la, da da dee. Boiled down to simply this is dog eat dog and survival of the fittest. Everybody fighting for independence, singularly Trinidad for instance. We gon' get it too, so don't bother. But I find we should all be together, not separated as we are because of Jamaica. If they know they didn't want federation, and they know they don't want to unite as one, tell the doctor you're not in favor. Don't behave like a blasted traitor. How the devil you mean you are federating no more? Outside man.
Kaiso, Slinger Francisco, the mighty Sparrow with Federation. On July 29, 1958, U.S. President Eisenhower signed the National Aeronautics and Space Act, creating NASA. Trinidad and Tobago Television, TTT, began operations on August 24th, 1 week before the nation's Independence Day, August 31st, 1962. Arima Mayor Percy Caesar renamed the Arima Savannah the Princess Royal Park after Princess Mary's 1962 visit. The history of the land, which we now call Trinidad and Tobago, did not start with Christopher Columbus. For hundreds of thousands of years, we were free. We were independent long before the Spanish and British invaded and colonized the friendly natives. So the next time you are counting from 1962 to today to mark our independence, you should add plenty zeros behind the number you get to account for all the years before Columbus, before the Spaniards and the British, when this land was free. We were independent from the dawn of time. After centuries of plunder, independence gave us back what they took by force centuries ago. So what are you really celebrating? Here is Cade Simon, the Lord Briner, with Trinidad and Tobago independence.
People only talking, but they really don't know what's the proper meaning for Trinidad and Tobago. Cipriani start the ball rolling, now the doctor doing the bowling, so that we help Uncle Eric to perform a real hat trick because this is your land, just as well as my land. This is your place, and also it's my place. So let we put our heads together and live like one happy family. Democratically, educationally, we'll live independently. "31st of August, the year 1962, will go down in history for every one of you. Forget racialism and nationalism. Let discipline, production, and tolerance guide us to independence because this is your land, just as well as my land. This is your place, and also it's my place. So let we put our heads together and live like one happy family. Democratically, educationally, we'll live independently." Conscientiously and constitutionally, forget all this lousy rumor about racial equality. If you are an East Indian and you want to be an African, just shave your head clean like me, then they can prove your nationality because this is your land, just as well as my land. This is your place, and also it's my place. So let we put our heads together and live like one happy family. Democratically, educationally, we'll live independently. And let's sing again. I want you to know, I must tell you plain, whether your status is high or low. This time has come at last when there's no more colonial rule, I believe. So together we will aspire, together we will achieve, because this is your land, just as well as my land. This is your place, and also it's my place. So let me put our heads together and live like one happy family. Democratically, educationally, we'll be independently.
𝐋𝐤, the 1962 independent calypso king with his winning number. Cade Simon, the Lord Briner with Trinidad and Tobago Independence. Jubal Uriah Buzz Butler on Love Radio, Pure Passion. Courtesy the #1 black strong coffee, Nescafe, the coffee we love.
Nescafe, the coffee we love.
There's many trials in life. Someone wants to prove courage to find the truth. Sacrifices in life for your family's tomorrow. You need the courage. Strong and independent person need a strong cup of coffee. Nescafe, the #1 black strong coffee. Improve memory, boost energy level, increase alertness. Strong and delicious coffee. Nescafe, with the smell of aroma, coffee beans. Golden brown Nescafe, coffee ganus. The smell of a better tomorrow.
Nescafe Classic. Bunga ng 100% puro at natural.
Nescafe, the coffee we love.
Courtesy the #1 black strong coffee, Nescafe, the coffee we love. The hero, champion, and spokesman of the working class, Jubal Uriah Buzz Butler. A masterpiece with passion, positivity, and power for posterity on Love Radio, Pure Passion. Documenting for future generations to treasure the life journey of one of the 20th century's titans, Jubal Uriah Buzz Butler. During World War II, the primary U.S. military base in Trinidad and Tobago was the Chaguaramas Naval Base. For the construction of Fort Reed, named after World War I General Windley Reed, and the Wallerfield Aerodrome, 2 large runways and barracks, the El Mamo Forest was cleared. The Wallerfield Air Force Base and Wallerfield Army Airfields were activated on September 1st, 1941. At its peak, there were 135,000 troops on the island. During World War II, Wallerfield became the largest airfield in the world, and at its height, saw planes landing at the rate of 1 every 3 minutes to facilitate the transfer of 500,000 troops and supplies from the USA to Europe. These bases were leased to the US in 1940, decommissioned in 1956, and returned to Trinidad and Tobago in 1963 after our independence. From 1943, Rupert Grant, Lord Invader, tells the story, Rum and Coca-Cola.
And when the Yankees first went to Trinidad, some of the young girls were more than glad. They said that the Yankees treat them nice, and they give them a better price. They buy rum and Coca-Cola. When down Point Cumana, both mothers and daughters working for their Yankee dollars. And Coca-Cola, going down Point Cumana, both mothers and daughters working for the Yankee dollars. And look, I had a little chick the other day, but her mother came and took her away. Herself, her mother, and her sisters went in a cab with some soldiers. They bought rum and Coca-Cola. Went down Point Cumana, both mothers and daughters working for their Yankee dollars. They have some aristos in Port of Spain. I know a lot, but I won't call name. And in the day, they wouldn't give you a right, but you could see them with the foreigners late at night, drinking rum and Coca-Cola, going down Point Cumana, both mothers and daughters working for their Yankee dollars. I know a couple who got married one afternoon and was to go to Miami on their honeymoon, but the bride ran away with a soldier lad, and the stupid husband went staring mad. They bought rum and Coca-Cola, going down Point Cumana, both mothers and daughters working for their Yankee dollars.
𝐋𝐤, Rupert Grant, the Lord Invader from 1943, Rum and Coca-Cola. Through calypsos, our stories are told with rhythm and rhyme to rock your world and touch your soul. In 1965, the mighty Sniper was crowned Calypso King. In his calypso, he said, "Or maybe they're forgetting Mr. Universe belongs to Trinidad." Who was he singing about? Our future Miss Universe was 12 years old at the time. That would make her about 1 cent, not yet a penny. Sniper was singing about a young man from Sangre Grande. At the Brooklyn Academy of Music in New York, 33-year-old TNT bodybuilder Christopher Ford won the Mr. Universe title in 1964. Ford was not as fortunate as other bodybuilders like Arnold and others who landed acting and other high-profile careers after winning a major title. Christopher Ford eked out a meager living working at Times Square stores in New York as a janitor. From 1965, Mervyn Hodge, the mighty Sniper, Portrait of Trinidad.
Trinidad is my land, and of it I am proud and glad. But I can't understand why some people just talk it bad. But I know all of them we running them out. Don't know where they're talking about. They would paint you black every day, and the right things they would never say. Like our sportsmen being rated among the best. Our scholars have sit and passed every test and put us right alongside the rest. But then our pitch lake is the greatest one of its kind. Our sugar and oil is really refined. So you see, friends, this is a real thing, Solomon's mind. They just talk some nonsense. Me ain't know where they're doing it for. About so much violence, man, you would swear that we fighting war. Of course, we have we delinquents to face, but just like any other place, look, the things that I say about here is really too much for me to bear. Because my people are daily making progress without any form of stupidness, and in this way we must gain success. For when we move in, we all move as one body. No bickering between you and me. For our policy stands for racial equality. Now when a stranger spending a little time in this lovely isle, every day you see him, he always have a hearty smile. When his time is up to depart, he would say with pride in heart, I'll be back, you could bet your life. And if I can't come, I will send my wife. And then he'll tell you he really wants her to come to drink some rum and have plenty fun in this great island in the sun. For Trinidadian, as foreigners do we call, it doesn't matter whether big or small, or if you're rich or poor, friends, we cater for one and all. So all of them we're talking, they either drunk or they're steering mad, or maybe they forgetting Mr. Universe belongs to Trinidad. And yet we have men of talent and skill, with high hopes of improving still. And if you think all this is a lie, the mighty sniper won't tell you why. Now our steel band is the best talent in this world. Like calypsos or stories are told, with its rhythm to touch your soul. So Trinidad, this lovely land of my birth, small but overwhelming in worth. And as you know, Carnival is the greatest frolic on earth.
𝐋𝐤 Mervyn Hodge, the mighty sniper, portrait of Trinidad. The first private railway attempt in Trinidad and Tobago was in 1846. The Trinidad Railway Company, the first government-run passenger train, operated in 1859. The Trinidad Government Railway, TGR, was established on July 1st, 1876 and ended on December 28, 1968. When the Duke of Iron sang The Last Train to San Fernando in 1952, co-written by the mighty dictator Kenny St. Bernard, the grandfather of broadcaster Eric St. Bernard, he was not singing about the end of the railway trains in Trinidad and Tobago, but merely the last train that night to San Fernando. Should you miss that last train, there will be more trains tomorrow. With Last Train to San Fernando, Cecil Anderson, the Duke of Iron, and his Trinidad Calypso troubadour. Last Train to San Fernando.
Last train to San Fernando. Last train to San Fernando. And if you miss this one, you'll never get another one. It's the last train to San Fernando. Yesterday I met with sweet Dorothy. She said tomorrow I'm joining in matrimony. And if you act right, you can take me out tonight. It is wine and dine and get back in time. Baby bam bam baby bam bam baby bam bam baby bam bam baby. bam bam yeah. She said I am entering in high society. You must be careful about the place you are taking me, 'cause if you slip, I slide, and I may never be a bride. It is a BBDD bam bam, oh bam bam yeah. Oh Lord, it's last train to San Francisco. BBDD bam bam, and if you miss this one, you'll never get another one. Bam bam, BBDD bam bam, BBDD. We went to a little place up on Sugar Hill. It was terrific, you should have seen the size of the bill. Well, it was tough stuff, I really had to belt a bluff for us a BBDD bam bam, oh bam bam yeah. BBDD bam bam, BBDD bam bam, bam bam hey now, and if you miss this one, you'll never get another one. Last train to San Francisco. Diplomatically, I asked Dorothy to dance, for on my mind I had nothing else but romance. I said to myself, boy, you better beat this iron while it's hot, for it's a BBDD bam bam, oh bam bam yeah. Yeah, Lord, it's last train, oh Lord, it's last train, baby, last train, bam bam, and if you miss this one, you'll never get another one. The last train to San Francisco.
𝐿𝐲. From 1952, Cecil Anderson, the Duke of Iron, and his Trinidad Calypso troubadour, Last Train to San Fernando. Queen Elizabeth II and Prince Philip visited Trinidad and Tobago during their Caribbean Commonwealth Tour, February 7th to 10th, 1966, hosted by Trinidad and Tobago's Governor General Sir Solomon Hochoy. Here is Slinger Francisco, the mighty sparrow, with the Queen's Canary.
Oh, well, they pass out the law to the people, keep the tongue as clean as a whistle. The governor pass out the law to the people, keep the tongue as clean as a whistle. No messing about in the place, keep your yard as clean as your face. Everyone with the penalty, untidiness is 6 months in custody. Up came the officer and asked him what is the matter. He said the Queen's Canary fly away, but I have it covered down there. Policeman fly in a rage and ask him, why don't you get a cage? He said, I couldn't leave the birdie, so I am afraid it would fly and go. If you would keep it covered for me, I'll get a cage and come back in a hurry. The stupid policeman accepted that, stooped down in the road and holding the hat. Up came the inspector and asked him, what is the matter? He said the Queen's Canary fly away, but I have it covered down there. Inspector was very, very greedy, so he jumped out the car in a hurry, because if a man catch the Queen's Canary, his reward's supposed to be heavy. Well, without any delay, send the policeman 2 blocks away of all the dirty tricks up on the shelf. He wanted the reward money for himself, so he raised the hat very slowly, feeling for the Queen's Canary.
But when he snatched, he holds something soft instead. He said, I broke every bone in its body. Which means the nasty canary is dead.
𝐂𝐲, Slinger Francisco, the mighty sparrow with the Queen's canary. Jubal Uriah Buzz Butler, a fearless conqueror, a passionate man of powerful, fiery words, determination, courage, intelligence, and wisdom. A man who went to jail for championing the plight of the working class. Buzz devoted his life unselfishly and wholeheartedly to the struggle for improvements in the working and living conditions of poor African and Indian laborers in sugar and oil, struggling with all his might by any means necessary against the colonial government of the British West Indies. Buzz was committed to truth, justice, and fair play. Never before in the history of TNT, anyone so bravely and boldly spoke out with fiery words and fearless actions, regardless of the consequences.
The Butler point of view is that this government, a crown colony form of government, is not constitutional. And furthermore, Butler is absolutely and completely opposed to crown colony government in this day and age. And so, a court that is set up by a crown colony government cannot be capable of trying Butler or convicting Butler. I reject any verdict coming from this court. I reject any verdict coming from this court.
Powerful words from a mighty man, Jubal Uriah Buzz Butler. At the National Museum at the head of Frederick Street in Port of Spain, there is a skeleton of the Banuari man who walked these lands 5,000 years BC in Pinal. 5,000 years BC was the end of the Stone Age and the beginning of the Bronze Age. 5,000 years BC, before Moses crossed the Red Sea, before Abraham left Sumeria. 5,000 BC was around the time of Noah's flood. A man was walking around Pinal and people were living in TNT 5,000 years BC, when Europeans were still in caves. Listen carefully to Cecil Hume, the maestro, son of a warrior.
After they give me pressure more and more, after they make me suffer on the floor, and then they feed me with the bitter crumb, and now they come around telling me I dumb. Long ago my forefather never feared no jaguar, lion or gorilla. So you see, I am a son of a warrior. I am a son of a African, son of a warrior. I say I no running away, no running away. Yeah, they say they conquer nation everywhere, and with their own face, they calling me fool, and in my own place, I am fit to rule. We had house and clothing when them didn't know nothing. They come out from their cave to enslave and crave. I am a son of a warrior. I am a son of an African. Son of a warrior. I say I no running away. No running away.
𝐋𝐲, they came out of their caves to enslave. It will be a grave injustice to our ancestors if you are deceived by modern day trinkets and tricks. Cecil Hume, the maestro, son of a warrior. Jubal Uriah Buzz Butler on Love Radio, Pure Passion. Courtesy the #1 black strong coffee, Nescafe, the coffee we love.
Nescafe, the coffee we love.
There's many trials in life. Someone wants to prove courage to find the truth. Sacrifices in life for your family's tomorrow. You need the courage. Strong and independent person need a strong cup of coffee. Nescafe, the #1 black strong coffee. Improve memory, boost energy level, increase alertness. Strong and delicious coffee. Nescafe, with the smell of aroma, coffee beans. Golden brown Nescafe, coffee ganus. The smell of a better tomorrow.
Nescafe Classic. Bunga ng 100% puro at natural.
Nescafe, the coffee we love.
Courtesy the #1 black strong coffee, Nescafe, the coffee we love. The hero, champion, and spokesman of the working class. Jubal Uriah Buzz Butler. A masterpiece with passion, positivity, and power for posterity on Love Radio, Pure Passion. Documenting for future generations to treasure the life journey of one of the 20th century's titans, Jubal Uriah Buzz Butler. In 1962, Marine Square in Port-au-Spain was renamed Independence Square. Jamaica gained independence on August 6, 1962, Guyana May 26, 1966, and Barbados November 30th, 1966. In 1969, Neil Armstrong and Buzz Aldrin landed on the moon. The Beatles broke up in 1969. Butler was made a patriot and granted a small pension by the government in 1970. In 1970, Butler received the nation's highest honor, the Trinity Cross. Despite independence in 1962 and a government headed by a black man, the oppression continued and the masses revolted in the Black Power Uprising, April 18th to 25th, 1970. Guy Harewood, Beverly Jones, Rafiq Shah, Kafa Dave Dabu Kambon, and Macandel Geddes Granger Dagger led the revolution. Here's Hollis Liverpool, the mighty Chogdas. Say thanks to Granger Dagger.
Before 1970, you just couldn't recall. Mr. Supervisor, foreman or manager, you on top the ladder. Sister, say thanks to Granger. Sister, say thanks to Dagger. But 10 years ago, was so you couldn't see your way as you do today. Don't thank the PNM nor the Prime Minister. If today you prosper, brother, say thanks to Granger. The pride you now take in your black and kinky hair, your beautiful skin wasn't there in yesteryear. You conscious lately of your ancestry. You beat out on drums, African rhythms. Now you conscious, my friend. Spare a thought now and then to a great black fighter. Brother, say thanks to Granger. On walls in your room, pictures of Garvey are seen. Long time they would put a royal lotus to feel. Your names are now Kwame, Gracie, Akia. Before 1970 was James Jones Sheila. James Jones Sheila. Now you know about Butler and Zinger and Shaka, or Mansa Musa. Sister, say thanks to Granger. Sister, say thanks to Dagger. So you value culture and creative art. National keys you treasure, with jackets you part. The steel orchestra you value higher. You shame no longer to be a member. No longer do you ridicule voodoo or laugh at Shango. That is so bongo. Don't thank Mr. Mandy, Burnham Bird or Kerry. If you now have power, brother, say thanks to Granger. The whole Caribbean was owned by imperialists. They all sucked us dry to benefit their interests. They stifled no art forms and no heritage. Before 1970, we were in bondage. Bondage, bondage. If you are proud, my child, of your Rasta hairstyle, while you sing praise to Jah, say a little prayer for Granger. Say a little prayer for Dagger.
Kaiso, Hollis Liverpool, the mighty Chogdas, say thanks to Granger, Dagger. In memory of Buzz Butler, a life-size statue of Butler was erected in 1971 at the now famous Charlie King Junction in Faizabad. In the first half of the 20th century, the political system in TNT improved slightly from full Crown Colony rule to limited representative Crown Colony government. The outrage, anger, and discontent over poor working and living conditions by the working class were buried deep in the colonial roots. The suffering under the capitalist system, from the landing of Columbus through slavery, indentureship, and for decades after. The discontent that had been simmering for years finally erupted, unlike the mud volcanoes of Peparo and Hindustan, erupted in 1937 in eruptions of fire and fury. The whispers of discontent grew louder through the years, and the spark was lit by one man, Tubal Uriah Buzz Butler. Butler was a man of fire and brimstone. His speeches ignited the dormant, latent hopes and aspirations in the hearts of the working class. Uriah demanded justice, fair play, better working and living conditions, and a future where our children will not be bounded by the same chains as their ancestors. Painting a new portrait, here's Leroy Callis, the Black Stallion. New portrait of Trinidad.
Now people clap their hands. People felt so glad when Sniper paint portrait of Trinidad. But look around today, your eyes may get sore. What Sniper said, we have it down here no more. When a man say we not what we used to be, don't care how much it hurts, but one must agree. From 1965 to now, we are no more great. our country has vastly deteriorated. No more our students ranked among the best. No more our scholars passing every test, but dropping out from school every day in this island. No money to continue their education. Our pitch lake is the greatest the world has seen. Yak roads here are the worst in the Caribbean. So don't bow down your head, brother, don't feel bad. I'm only painting on you. Portrait of Trinidad. Regardless of your color, your class or race, long ago down here you must find an equal place. We had our crime and our delinquent problem, but like any other country that we had then, those days went on, we people run them out, sniper ask them where the hell that they're talking about. But nowadays when they talk, we can't see the light. Our delinquent and crime problem has gone sky high. Every day you pick up your newspaper, you could read the wholesome youth for marijuana. Shooting and thieving is really disgusting. That a shame to admit that this thing happened. With revolution and race talk, my country filled. Today I live under a sedition bill. I'm only conscious of my place and not going mad. I'm painting over the portrait of Trinidad. Foreigners who return and visit our island is shocked at our present situation. This same man had invited his wife to come to see Tobago and drink our local rum. Those were the days when don't care whether big or small, whether rich or poor, we catered for one and all. But nowadays the thing changed up entirely. Is you see about you and I see about me. Now in Tobago, them fishermen dying with grief. No more they taking tourists to Boca Reef. And if you ask them why, they gonna tell you flat. It's them big hotel owners controlling that. Even the scarlet ibis bird that they had around on Boca Reef, they start dying out one by one. I'm only conscious of my place and not going mad. I'm painting over the portrait of Trinidad.
𝐋𝐤, painting a new portrait. Leroy Calise, the Black Stallion. New portrait of Trinidad. The intense conflict of labor and government continued, resulting in the Bloody Tuesday violent suppression of workers' march by police on March 18, 1975, led by Bastille Pandey, George Weeks, and Rafik Shah in San Fernando. Here is Cecil Hugh, the maestro, with Some Came Running.
The United Labour Cause a commission to hold a demonstration, a religious procession. Some came a paid, some came praying. The police commissioner had strong objection. He said that demonstration is too much provocation. Some came a falling, some came running. We take on we own account and assemble by Paramount. I couldn't believe it could come to pass. You know that short tear gas in the grass. We marching, we come out for pride. We marching, we have president. If you see the crowd of the chair in Lawrence, well they nearly kill your mother. George Weeks start to fall. Rap they were capsized and fall, but they couldn't get traffic at all. Wait, listen, and we went to pray, man, pray. When you talk about runner, comrade, shy runner. He passed 2 truck and a car and a 350 Yamaha.
Some came a speeching, some came preaching.
He run from Royal Road to Marabella. When he reached Warakara, he jumped over the river.
Some came a crying, some came whining.
We came with picnic basket to march without a permit. But when police start sharing blows, when the leader when no one knows, we marching,
we come out for pride,
we marching,
we afraid the day.
If you see the crowd out there cheering loud, but the big protest on the one come as well, then nearly kill Jamaica. George King start to fall. Rap they rock upside and fall, but they couldn't get traffic at all. We want more pay, more money, this country. San Fernando was just like Carnival Day, and Pandey tell Tony May there'll be trouble along the way.
Some came a hailing, some came wailing.
Some journalists get licks at least, so they say. They join in the laporay and get caught up in the fray.
Some came a swinging, some came singing.
A lady with big belly say how the police kick she, but then up came another guy and tell Chocolingo she lie. We marching,
we come out for breath.
I say we marching,
we afraid the day.
If you see the crowd how they cheering loud, but the big protest on the one come as well, then nearly kill Jamada. George Week start to fall, and they walk upside and fall, but they couldn't get traffic at all. Increase, we want money, more pay. Then Tony May told Weeks the things he stood for. He stand for preserving law and order and nothing more.
Some came a chanting, some came panting.
Then George tell Tony flat that excuses for you trying to start a war, you crucifying labor.
Some came a walking, some came talking.
They launch a massive manhunt, the organizer they want. Rap it on, they gon' pass him out, so he give himself up in the south. We marching,
we come out for prayer.
I say we marching,
we afraid the day.
If you see the crowd out there cheering loud, but the big protest on the one come as well, then yeah, he kill Jamada. George Week start to fall. Rap they rock upside and fall, but they couldn't get traffic at all.
𝐿𝐈 Cecil Hughes, the maestro with Some Came Running. Tubal Uriah Buzz Butler was born at Blue Grove Cottage, St. George's, Grenada on Sunday, 21st January 1897. Butler died on Carnival Sunday, 20th February 1977. A national hero, yet penniless, without a house of his own. In his latter years, he lived in a humble home provided by the Oilfields Workers Trade Union in the oil district of Guapo, South Trinidad. Later that night at the March Gras, Carnival 1977, the mighty Chokdas, who sang Juba Dubai and Shango Vision to win the crown, added an extra line to his kaiso. Tubal Uriah Butler, wherever you are, to your memory I dedicate this cry, Juba Dubai.
If you want to win the crown, you got to sing a surfer song. It must have some pep and jump to make people shake their bump. Chucky, I hope you see how Sparrow's outfit was well pretty. So to do best, you must dress like the test and jump with zest. Chucky, come off that scene, because you cannot whine like Francine. To suck the eye, you just can't cry. Juba Dubai.
𝐿𝐈, the same day of Butler's death, later that night at the March Gras Carnival 1977, the Calypso monarch of 1977, the mighty Chokdas, Hollis Liverpool, sang Juba Dubai and Shango Vision to win the crown, and added an extra line to his kaiso. Tubal Uriah Butler, wherever you lie, To your memory, I dedicate this cry, Juba Dubai. Jubal Uriah Buzz Butler on Love Radio, Pure Passion. Courtesy the #1 black strong coffee, Nescafe, the coffee we love.
Nescafe, the coffee we love.
There's many trials in life. Someone wants to prove courage to find the truth. Sacrifices in life for your family's tomorrow. You need the courage. Strong and independent person need a strong cup of coffee. Nescafe, the #1 black strong coffee. Improve memory, boost energy level, increase alertness. Strong and delicious coffee. Nescafe, with the smell of aroma, coffee beans. Golden brown Nescafe, 𝐶𝐕 the smell of a better tomorrow.
Nescafe Classic. Bunga ng 100% puro at natural.
Nescafe, the coffee we love.
Courtesy the #1 black strong coffee, Nescafe, the coffee we love. The hero, champion, and spokesman of the working class, Jubal Uriah Buzz Butler. A masterpiece with passion, positivity, and power for posterity on Love Radio, Pure Passion. Documenting for future generations to treasure the life journey of one of the 20th century's titans, Jubal Uriah Buzz Butler. Tens of thousands pay tribute to Buzz as his body lay in state in an official state funeral. Jubal Uriah Buzz Butler was laid to rest at the Apex Cemetery in Faizabad. Here's Emerald Phillips, Brother Valentino with Butler National Hero.
He came from Grenada, not by chance, but by God's will. The champion, of course, that we fighting still. At a time when slavery was still in existence, the chief humble servant decided to put up some resistance. It was the turning point of the working class and the masses, and the people stood behind him and dealt with the forces. Let us continue the struggle of Uriah, a struggle men like Charlie King and them couldn't conquer. Solidarity started down there in the junction, in Faizabad, where it continues to function. In 1937, history was written. This man emerged, and Massa Day was threatened. Freedom, bread, peace, and justice was the motto of Jubal Uriah Buzz Butler, national hero. Freedom, bread, peace, and justice was the motto of Jubal Uriah Buzz Butler, national hero.
It's a sad thing to remember, and it's sadder still for me to relate today when things seem to have changed quite a lot. But as I remember, the conditions of the poor Indians and Negroes and sugar and oil respectively was nothing short of subhuman. It was clearly a case for early rectification. But how to do it? Letter after letter was dispatched to the powers that be in the oil and sugar industry. No replies. We turned our attention to the government of the day. Every letter was attended to, acknowledged. But what about the alleviation of the condition of these poor workers? Well, nothing was attempted, nothing done. And so I thought that the time had come when we had to take positive action to achieve positive results insofar as betterment of the condition under which these people were forced to live and die and work are concerned.
Now Uriah was a man never went to college, but was blessed with wisdom, understanding, and knowledge. Spiritually, through the Baptist motivation, his voice was heard throughout the length and breadth of this nation. As he sounded his warning through the system, and the songs he sang in this old-time Baptist rhythm. So let us continue the struggle of Uriah, a struggle men like Charlie King and them couldn't conquer. Solidarity started down there in the junction, in Faizabad, where it continues to function. In 1937, history was written. This man emerged, and Master Day was stripped. Freedom, bread, peace, and justice was the motto of Cuba. Uriah was Butler, national hero. Freedom, bread, peace, and justice was the motto of Cuba. Uriah was Butler, national hero.
Butler's point of view is that this government, a crown colony form of government, is not constitutional. And furthermore, Butler is absolutely and completely opposed to crown colony government in this day and age. And so, a court that is set up by a crown colony government cannot be capable of trying Butler or convicting Butler. I reject any verdict coming from this court. I reject any verdict coming from this court.
Now here was a man who even went to prison just to prove that justice should be given. He was denied of his right to sit in parliament. Still for the poor, he kept fighting for betterment. I wonder how many of you listening out there remember the life and times of this great trade union leader. So let us continue the struggle of Uriah, a struggle men like Charlie King and them couldn't conquer. Solidarity started down there in the junction, in Faizabad, where it continues to function. In 1937, history was written. This man emerged, and Master Day was stripped. Freedom, bread, peace, and justice was the motto of Cuba. Uriah was Butler, national hero. Freedom, bread, peace, and justice was the motto of Cuba. Uriah was Butler, national hero.
Today, as we celebrate what I am always pleased to refer to as the Butlerites' Thanksgiving Day, I call upon one and all of my warriors to lift their hearts to Almighty God in joyful praise and thanksgiving for the victories, the working class victories, the immortal victories, the epic victories of labor under Gordon Uriah Butler in the history-making days of June 1937. Glory to God in the highest. Long live labor. Long live the servants of labor in Trinidad and Tobago.
His hero stood tall and represented his people, and in the end, all they gave him was the medal. Like a pauper, he was left to die in this country, but his contribution
is part of our local history. That is the man who started the fight for labor and helped to get rid of the old colonial slave master. So let us continue the struggle of Uriah, a struggle men like Charlie King and them couldn't conquer. Solidarity started down there in the junction in Faizabad, where it continues to function. In 1937, history was written. This man emerged, Massa Day was stripping. Freedom, bread, peace, and justice was the motto of Cuba Uriah Buzz Butler, national hero. Freedom, bread, peace, and justice was the motto of Cuba Uriah Buzz Butler, national hero.
𝐾𝐲, Emerald Phillips, Brother Valentino with Butler, national hero. The Express newspaper began 50 years after The Guardian on June 6, 1967. May Day, the 1st of May, the International Labor Day, was a public holiday in Trinidad and Tobago in honor of Butler by Act 19 of 1972. Labor Day was moved to June 19 in honor of Butler and in tribute to the tumultuous events of June 19, 1937. The Princess Margaret Highway from Valsayn to Chaguanas, constructed in 1958, was extended north to Champlain Mount Hope and all the way south to San Fernando and now Pinal with a section to Point Fortin, and renamed in 1988 the Uriah Butler Highway. Here is Lutalo Makosa Masimba, born Roy Lewis, Brother Resistance. Can't take that.
I walk my finger to the bone for my country. I squeeze blood out a stone for my country. The people in authority mashing up my family. So much a years that we sweat and toil. It's bleed blood and tears wait till the soil, but we still suffering today. And we children can't see the way. Hey, I wake up in the morning and there's unemployment. I can't take that. Wake up in the morning and there's more retrenchment. I can't take that. When they going to stop all this humiliation, I can't take that. Wake up in the morning, more frustration, I can't take that. No, ain't taking that. So the people ain't taking that. Ain't taking that. So the people ain't taking that. Ain't taking that. So the people ain't taking that. Ain't taking that. So the people ain't taking that. Hey, I love to live, but my life is a scramble. I had to think to put a bread on my table. You mock democracy, licking up my dignity. So much a hungry mouth is to feed is we cry blood just to sow the seed, but we still suffering in pain, and we children feeling the strain. I wake up in the morning and there's unemployment, I can't take that. Wake up in the morning and there's more retrenchment, I can't take that. When they going to stop all this humiliation, I can't take that. I wake up in the morning and there's more frustration, I can't take that. No, ain't taking that. So people ain't taking that. 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 Hey. From the belly of the nation, you mash me corn and you cause aggravation. Life under poverty is endless agony. And after all that we sacrifice, dog give me dinner and we pay the price. But we must get justice today, so we children could see the way. Hey, wake up in the morning and there's unemployment, I can't take that. Wake up in the morning and there's more retrenchment, I can't take that. When they going to stop all this humiliation, I can't take that. Wake up in the morning and there's more frustration, I can't take that.
Ain't taking that, so people ain't taking that. Ain't taking that, so people ain't taking that. Ain't taking that, so people ain't taking that. Ain't taking that, so people ain't taking that.
Kaiso, Roy Lewis, Lutalo, Makosa, Masimba, Brother Resistance, Can't Take That. Two notable Butler books. Introduction to The Life and Times of Tubal Uriah Buzz Butler by Nyahume Obika, published in 1983, and God, the Press, and Uriah Butler by Dr. Hollis Mighty Chogdas, Liverpool, published in 2021. Mahatma Gandhi started his non-violent resistance against British colonial rule in South Africa and later in India in the early 20th century. But it was Butler who took on the mantle of champion of the working class and spearheaded the battle against the British Crown. Uriah laid the foundation for those who followed. Buzz fought for the oppressed and downtrodden, the poor laborers, the victims of the oppressive capitalist British Empire. People like Stokely Carmichael, Kwame Ture, Martin Luther King Jr., Steve Biko, and Nelson Mandela continued the struggle. Many of the rights, wages, and privileges that workers enjoyed worldwide in the past 80 years can be directly credited to the work of the powerful Uriah, the mighty Buzz, the fearless Butler, the selfless conqueror, the supreme chief servant, the hero, the champion, the spokesman of the working class. Tubal Uriah Buzz Butler, 1897 to 1977. Here is Cecil Hugh, the maestro, with Portrait in Black.
Papa, Mama, black son, black daughter, brother, sister, ride on together. Everybody else has something, we alone scrunting. It's time that we learn, we shouldn't throw stone, we fault is we own. Too much affect, too much blockorama, too much emphasis on clothes. And when we sweat, we ain't no a banker, is we we're giving we blows. Look around and see what is happening. Everybody selling, we alone buying. This ain't no racial attack, I just come to pay a portrait in black. Black, black, cost of living daily sky high. How come it's only we're crying every time there is motor car selling faster? The amazing thing, the same folks driving, the same blokes riding. Para and China in curry, why pay so much for roti? Too much pizza and chow mein and chop suey, coconut bake more tasty. Watch who does buy if you think I like Royal Castle, Fowl and Kentucky Fried. We don't support we own kind, it's too much bad man. which child future we would come, sacrifice and starve, is why we can't have. Wicked lawmen shooting and killing. Only black hen chicken we're dying. I am down in the ghetto. Them build bungalow. Ganja is their game. They're making a name, but we getting blamed. Too much MX, too much marijuana, too much artificial meals. Why we must vex when Ramzuku prosper? We bag is Dandan and Hills. While we as free temperament, other people make good use of every cent. To tighten up all who slack, I come out to pay this portrait in black.
𝐿𝐲, Cecil Hugh, the maestro with Portrait in Black. The Radio Trinidad Archives, the National Archives, the West Indian Reference Library, and the Government Film Unit provided valuable resource materials for this research project. A university thesis, a 6-hour radio special on Love Radio Pure Passion, and a forthcoming paperback novel that will be available on Amazon. This, my friends, is a concise and accurate account of the life journey of a true father of the nation of Trinidad and Tobago, the Supreme Chief Servant, my hero, Tubal Uriah Buzz Butler, a masterpiece with passion, positivity, and power for posterity, a University of the West Indies thesis, 21st March 1985 by Sukram Ali, presented 40 years later, June 19th, 2025, by the Ultimate Selector, with the kind compliments of the #1 black strong coffee, Nescafe, the coffee we love, on Love Radio Pure Passion. 40 years ago, I presented a thesis for the module Caribbean History and Contemporary Social Problems at the University of the West Indies, St. Augustine campus. This is adapted from the original script, Tubal Uriah Buzz Butler. This program is dedicated to my classmates, the class of 1984 to 1987, Communication Arts, UB St. Augustine, Trinidad and Tobago. Love Radio 5D Radio Flix, 25 epic international radio stations, broadcasting from Midtown Manhattan, New York City to every nation on the planet, powered by music from the Ultimate Collection and the power of love. With Radio Flix and AI technologies, Tubal Uriah Buzz Butler. On Love Radio, Pure Passion, courtesy the #1 black strong coffee, Nescafe, the coffee we love.
Nescafe, the coffee we love.
There's many trials in life. Someone wants to prove courage to find the truth. Sacrifices in life for your family's tomorrow. You need the courage. Strong and independent person need a strong cup of coffee. Nescafe, the #1 black strong coffee. Improve memory, boost energy level, increase alertness. Strong and delicious coffee. Nescafe, with the smell of aroma, coffee beans. Golden brown Nescafe, coffee granules. the smell of a better tomorrow.
Nescafe Classic. Bunga ng 100% puro at natural.
Nescafe, the coffee we love.
Courtesy, the #1 black strong coffee, Nescafe, the coffee we love. The hero, champion, and spokesman of the working class. Tubal Uriah Buzz Butler, a masterpiece with passion and power for posterity on Love Radio Pure Passion, documenting for posterity the life journey of one of the 20th century titans, one of 4 giants among men, fearless heroes and champions of the working class: Mahatma Gandhi, Tubal Uriah Buzz Butler, Dr. Martin Luther King Jr., and Nelson Mandela. The hero and spokesman of the working class, the champion of the poor and downtrodden, the supreme chief servant, a true father of the nation of Trinidad and Tobago, Tubal Uriah Buzz Butler. Mission successfully accomplished with soul-satisfying delight. Be sure to save, enjoy, love, share far and wide, so that future generations can appreciate the tremendous world-changing contribution of my hero, Tubal Uriah Buzz Butler. I'm Sukram Ali, the ultimate selector, full of the joy of life, enjoying the journey, leaving you with Alex King, Lord Baker. God bless our nation.
Rain in an ocean, like a drop in the sea. But many, many nations still got to learn from we, how we aspire and we achieve. It's so hard to believe the unity that is so unique. It's fantastic, yes, so to speak. It's fantastic, yes, it is, the way how we live as one. In integration, all the nation is second to none. Here the Negroes, the white man, the Chinese, the Indian, we walk together in hand. Of Calypso, in this wonderland of steel band. God bless our nation. We may never invent a bomb, or on the moon ever land a man. Our population isn't yet a million, so then that ain't no disgrace. For Trinidadians have set the pace and proved every color, creed and race in this world could find an equal place. So you see, it's fantastic, yes it is, the way how we live as one. In integration, all the nation is second to none. Here the Negroes, the white man, the Chinese, their children, they play together in the sun. In this wonderland of Calypso, in this wonderland of
can say it's I am so proud, and I'm going to sing it out clear and loud. Yes, I'm proud of my people, each and every one of you, for contributing to humanity, and contented beings we always will be. Whenever the stories are said, how Trinidadian live, what the world thought was dead. So you see, it's fantastic, yes it is, the way how we live as one. In integration, all the nation is second to none. Here the Negroes, the white man, the Chinese, the Indian, we jump together in a band. In this wonderland of Calypso, in this wonderland of Stephen, where I was born. God bless our nation.
Feel good. Love radio. Love radio. Love radio.
Love radio.
Music that makes you feel good.
That makes you feel good.
Love radio.
Non-stop
Music.